Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel, and anybody that's new, welcome. My name is Debbie, I'm the Crafty Shopper. Today we are going to be doing a Jenga Block Christmas window. We're going to be using 129s of Dollar Tree Jenga Blocks. You can find them in the toy section of Dollar Tree. You can also look on end caps. Sometimes they have them there too. I know a lot of the Jenga blocks are coming out two-toned, and I'm not sure why right at the moment. I still have a bunch that I still have the regular one. You can also paint them, or you can use this build and use all your brown ones, pick out the brown ones, or vice versa, depending on what color you want to use. You can also order them if you live in the US on dollartree.com website as well. You can get them shipped to your store if your store is able to get them for free shipping to the store and pick up there. And sometimes you can get them delivered to your house. If you actually sign up with the dollartree.com website, you can have, sometimes they do send out a coupon for free shipping or 50% off shipping. There's a bunch of different ones. I always sign up for the newsletter. I get it, but here in Canada, we have to just buy them in the store. Now, I use Wellbond. That's my preference of glue. You need to use wood glue. I do not suggest using any hot glue whatsoever unless you're gluing on a block or two. If you're going to spend the time to make it using the proper glue, I know people use the DT wood glue and says it works great. Thanks to Terry for mailing me out a bottle. I still haven't used it, Terry. And there's also, I have never tried, I did buy a bottle. I'm going to do another video with testing all the glue when I get around to it one of these days. But I also heard this glue works as well. Now I do suggest reading the back of your bottle and looking for the total time for it to dry. It says drying time can be up for an hour and cures in 24. So depending on what build, I usually don't touch mine for 6 hours depending on the stability or what I'm actually making. Sometimes I do a lot of the builds like I am going to do right now. We're going to put it together and I'm going to leave it overnight. I do glue pre-sections of my build just to make sure that everything will balance out. Sometimes I do add a block or suggest during the video that what would make it look better if I haven't figured that out. We're going to use an L-shape carpenter square ruler from Dollar Tree. You can find that in the hardware section. Today I'm going to use two. I had two on hand and I don't know why. And when I'm gluing long sections, excuse me, I like to tape my rulers together so I can have a proper straight line. I suggest doing this with any blocks that you do, just because it gives you a nice straight edge when you are putting the blocks together. All right, so we're going to start off. Going to need, like I said, 129 blocks. We're going to start off with one row, and you're going to use 16 blocks, and we're going to glue them stacked. When I say stacked, it just means one on top of each other, just like that. And on my ruler, I'm just going to start it there. You're going to do another two stacked, and you're going to glue them on as you go. You're going to go another two stacked. That's 6. Another 2 stacked, 8, another 2 stacked, that's 10, let's move this over, another 2 stacked, that's 12, another 2 stacked, 14, and another 2 stacked, 16. Now when you are gluing them together, as you all know, if you worked with the blocks before, sometimes they're not the same length, and you need to have, I like to always have a straight length, or the row to be straight when you're doing two parts like that. So sometimes if I notice one block's a little bit shorter than other, I'll swap out another block to see if it's better. Sometimes I think this one's a little bit better at the moment. And then I would just glue all this section. I would move it up lightly, and I would glue another section as I go. That's how I usually do it when I'm gluing sections together. So once you have this section glued, it's going to look, I'm going to move this to the side. It's going to look like this. You had it sideways. we're gonna have a piece like this. You're gonna need 4. So one of these are 16, you're gonna need 4 of these. So I have 2 and 2, and then I have another 2. So I have 4 of those sections. I'm just gonna move those out of the way. Then we're gonna take the blocks again, and you're gonna do another 2 the exact same way, another 2 which is 4, another 2 which is 6, oops, another 2 blocks which is 8, another 2, that's 10, and another 2 which is 12. So once you get your 12 glued, you're going to do 3 more sections. So you're going to need 4 of these. So I showed you the other ones. You can see them here on the sides. You're going to need 4 of these. So each of these ones are 12 on each one. You're going to need 4, and that's 48. So I'm going to move that out of the way. So I'm going to move my ruler now. Now you're going to take your sections. So these are the 2 long. We're going to start the long this way. Going to do 2 over here. I'm going to call these the shorter sides. I'm going to turn this one over. Now, if you noticed, I just put the single side and I didn't glue them this way. I glued them upwards with the 1 block showing as opposed to the doubles, so looking flat. I'm gonna glue these 2 together. I'm gonna glue these 2 together, these 2 together, these 2 together, and then I'm gonna glue all 4 pieces to make a triangle. Now, if you notice when you're doing separate pieces that one has a bigger little bit of an opening, you can just try moving it the other way and see when I flipped it over to the other side, the gap was a little bit smaller now. This one has a little bit one here. Sometimes you can flip it over and see when I flip that one over, it's more of a tight fit. So what you're gonna do now is you're gonna glue these all 4 sections, and then we're gonna let that dry. All right, so now we're gonna do the cross for the back of the window. I'm gonna glue 5 pieces together, just flat. So once you have them glued together, you can do 5. I'm not gonna glue them together. I'm gonna show you in a sec. So you're gonna do 5. And then you're gonna take 4 more blocks and you're gonna glue it right in the center. I'm just gonna move this out of the way. Gonna add 4 like that and glue it as such. Gonna take another 4, gonna glue another 4 on this side. So you got 5, 4, and 4. Then you're going to take 4 more blocks. And the total for this section will be 17. You're going to glue it sideways like that. Sideways here. Sideways here. And sideways here. Just like that. I would glue a 5, a 4, and a 4 once with the ruler to make sure they're nice and straight. And then I would glue them onto the existing 5, 4 on each side. And then once they're glued, I would add the 4. So then it makes it nice and straight. So I'm just gonna move it out of the way here because I already have the piece glued. Now, the most important thing about when you're working with the blocks is the drying time, and I'll always emphasize that. So this is what it'll look like when it's glued together. Now it's been glued since, I think, yesterday. So I can move it around. And then I'm just gonna bring back the one that's drying. All right, so this one's been drying for a couple hours now, and I'm gonna turn it over. Now the reason why I was gonna turn it over is because I know that on one of my blocks that I was gluing that I have the little numbers. Sometimes you will see on one of the blocks in there saying the SKU number, and I don't want that facing forward. So I knew it was on the back, so I flipped it over. We're gonna take the piece that we just did, and we're just gonna glue it right centered in the middle of the three blocks. We're gonna do it centered on both sides, and it will be centered in the middle. And you're gonna glue both these blocks on all four corners. And then once I glue those on, I'm gonna leave it for the rest of the evening, and I'm gonna let it totally dry overnight. All right, now that I let it dry overnight, you can see that it's solid, and that's why I always emphasize about gluing and letting it dry properly. I'm gonna turn it this way. The window will be this way, but for now I'm just gonna turn it sideways so it fits into the screen. Sometimes you might see little glue marks, and I just take a DT nail file nail section. When you are gonna paint the blocks, usually the glue you will see underneath the paint, and I don't like that look. Just a reminder for everybody to please make sure you guys put your name on your work on social media. A lot of people are stealing pictures and calling them their own with all the scammers these days on Facebook. It's horrible. If you do see stuff, any of my crafts with my name on it, because my pictures have been stolen and stating they're selling, I do not sell my crafts, so it is a fake post. If you see any posts that know is fake, don't let anybody buy anything, because it's really horrible, and a lot of people are getting scammed on social media from a lot of these scammers. Next thing I'm going to do is, now you don't have to do this, that's just my preferences, in between the cracks, just to seal them off a little bit better. As you can see, is there's a few little openings. I'm just going to take some spackle. I just buy this drywall spackle at Rona. I know DT has it. We don't carry it in our store. Mine's pink. It turns white after it dries. And I'm just going to go into some of the corners just like that to make a more smoother surface when I paint it. If you do, if you're going to do a rustic one, you cannot use spackle over, you can't use stain over spackle. So if you're going to do just a plain stain, a gel stain, some wood stain, do not spackle it, because it will not go over the spackle very well. So I'm just going to finish just going around the edges. I'm going to just do a little bit in here just to try to smoothen it out a bit. All right, I did do the inside just so that you wouldn't see the lines as well, at least cover it up a little bit. And once the spackle was dry, it only took about 30 minutes to dry. I just took a nail file and I just buffed out and made it a lot more smoother. Now I'm just gonna give it a couple coats of white. Now that I painted it fully white, I'm just gonna distress it just a little bit on it. I did some, I just took a paintbrush and I was rubbing my finger. I just used some metallic silver. I'm gonna try a little bit of the gray. I bought some gray paint at Michael's. Now, I know someone will say that you can actually buy the frames from DT, and you can buy the frames, the picture frames, and glue for them together. I just like the fact that there's a lip on them, that you have the depth on each side, that you can do a little bit more to the build, like where you can sit them on the corners, as opposed to the picture frames that are super thin. So I'm just going to distress that before we go on. All right, now that I've distressed it just a little bit, you could also take a file too, but it will take some of the paint off. That's totally up to you, and you can put the color on there. Now, I didn't do any in the top only because I'm going to put some greenery, and I'm just going to flip it over. So this is going to be the top, and I already pre-drilled a hole. Now, I just used a small drill bit just to get the hole started. I wouldn't do it in the crack where you glued it, do it up in the corner. This one here I am going to hang. You can use it as a leaner as well. I'm going to do a second one with the same build with this and add onto it, but that will be the next one I'll do right after this one in a different color that I had an idea. And I just have a wall hanging, I guess something hanging kit, and you're just going to screw it in. So when you do with the drill bit, just do a little bit. My drill bit was a little bit big but I just drilled it enough just to get it in there so I could just screw the little hanging apparatus in. Just tighten it one more time. And just make sure whatever one you are going to use, that it's not long enough the width of the two blocks. Then mine comes with a little wire. I'm just going to attach it on both sides, which I'm going to do off camera because it's going to looks like it's going to take me a little bit here. And just long enough, even though it's up here, hanging, that with the greenery, you're not going to see it. And then you're just going to twist the ties once you get it around on each end, that you can just tie it really good. I'm just going to wind it up and just keep winding. And it's just metal. So once I'm done that, we are going to add some curtains. Now this is the way I'm going to hang it, and it's just trying to be close with the camera, so I am going to do it sideways. Now Dollar Tree has fabric. Even if you have an old shirt you don't wear anymore that's plaid, or you want to do a different color, it's totally up to you. Even if you want to add it, don't want to add it. I already unrolled one, so I actually cut it in half, so it's pretty big, as you can see here. So I cut it down the middle, and I'm just going to put this other half away, and I am going to cut it in another, just so a quarter of that material. So I'm just going to cut it down the middle lengthwise. Now that I cut it in two pieces, I just folded it over here, just one side that's going to face the inside of the window, and just hot glue a seam if you sew, that you can do that too, just like this. I just folded it over. And then the next thing we are going to do is just hot glue the piece. Now you can cut it if you want to measure it first. I'm not going to give dimensions. And there's that little lip in between right under that block. And I'm just going to glue it right down like that. So it's a little bit wider, but that's okay. And then I'm just going to hot glue it till under here. Once you have that glued down, and we'll just cut those little strands off. So now you have it hanging there, and then we're going to tie it back, and we're just going to pull it. I don't want to pull it too hard, because you want to make sure, and I'm just going to try to pleat it a little bit, if that makes sense. I'm just going to try to get a piece into here. Just kind of like that, pulled down, but I don't want it pulled down too much because I still want some of it to drape over here. Just gonna turn it back over so you get the idea. Now, you could actually probably just hot glue this down. Just try to keep it flat as possible. I'm just going to hot glue this off camera. So once I pleated it here, we're just going to hot glue it straight down like that. Let's see if I can do it while it's right along this line. Oh. I'm just going to do it straight down. And then you're just gonna actually pleat it. I want it straight down. I don't want it sticking up or loose. You can if that's what you want to do. And then I'm just gonna kind of pleat it, but more of a straight down look. So it's open here and more of a straight down on the bottom part. And then I'm gonna repeat the step with the other curtain. All right, now that the pleats are done and I glued the bottom down, I finished putting the wire on top. I'm gonna flip it over. And on top, I want to add some greenery, and there was a couple little picks I was able to pick up. It's frosted greenery from Dollar Tree, and I am just going to cut off part of the bottom of the stems, and I'm just going to hot glue them right across the top of the window. Now I'm going to add something for the middle of the top part of the window greenery in between there. And I just have this ornament from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to hot glue it. I'm going to stick it right in the middle right there and hot glue it down. Now, even though this is a window, I thought a little handle knob looked like you can open it, similar even to a door, anything like that. And I had this from the garden stakes that I did in the plants. You guys all probably seen with the beads on the long screw thingamajiggy. And this was the top, and I think it would just look perfect there since I'm doing more of a silvery white blingy kind of a craft. So I'm gonna just hot glue it on right there, looking like it's a handle. You can also use, too, depending on what you want to do, DT also has these metal door pulls that wouldn't look too bad on there just because it is a wider build, and they do come in different colors at Dollar Tree depending on the colors that you want to pick. Now I'm going to put some little Christmas trees. I'm just going to hot glue them on the bottom right here. I'll do it like this. I'm just going to hot glue them right on the bottom ledge here with the 3 here and the 1 here. And then once I have those glued on the little brown parts of the bottom of the tree, I am just going to give them a coat of white paint to conceal the little wood. Once that is dry, I will add some Mod Podge and some fake snow, and I'm just going to go along the edge and just put a little bit down on the bottom. All right, next I'm going to add a couple more embellishments to it to finish it off. I have these reindeers. I really love reindeers, so every time I see reindeers, I buy them. Now, these are not from Dollar Tree or Dollarama here in Canada. They're actually from Canadian Tire. So if you're Canadian, you'll know what Canadian Tire it is. It's just a hardware store that has sections, and they were just ornaments to hang on the tree. And I really love reindeers. Now, Dollar Tree does carry reindeers, but they carry the darker ones. And I'm just going to show you here. Oh, there goes something flying. They carry these ones too. If you move the trees, they actually do fit in between the block like that you could actually stick in on the bottom. I'm going to use these ones because I got them on hand. I'm going to stick this one right in the middle. I'm going to stick another one right here. Dollar Tree snowflake. A lot of bling on this one. Now this was just in my stash. It was just on a little clip. It's like a little dove. I'm just going to stick it sitting right on the shelf there. A couple of these from DT as well. Just some foam snowflakes. We'll switch it around, something like that. Actually, I might not use that one. There's these ones too, actually. These are just another ornaments I had in stash that I'm going to use. I had this little girl. She's actually from Dollarama. It was just something you hang on the tree, and she's just very cute, and I just thought it would look appropriate. I think I used one of these for my the Jenga Blocks stacking stars last year or the year before. I think it was the year before that I did. I'm just going to stick her in the corner like this. So I'm going to hot glue everything on. She sits right on the base, but I will hot glue her down on the side and the bottom. And in between here, I'm just going to add a little bit more snow. I did 2 coats of the snow on the bottom, And I just like the nice feeling of it, and you just can't see the brown base anymore. And I might just put just a little bit here, maybe down the side, and then I will hang it up and I will show you what it looks like finished. All right, I was gonna add one more thing. After I glued everything on, I did add just a little bit of artificial snow. It just came out more like spray paint, but added a little bit onto the greenery, and I'm just gonna add some little extra Christmas balls inside the greenery. I'm gonna hot glue some in, and I'm gonna do that with the other side, and I'm gonna have to find a place to hang it, but like I said during the video, we're gonna do another one. So we're gonna, as soon as I glue these on, we're gonna start with the other one until I can find a place, and then I will show you at the end of the next one, both of them at the same time finished. All right, for the second one, we're gonna make this build different, but we're gonna do exactly what we did with the first one, the exact same numbers, so 129 blocks, but we're gonna add to this. So this one is going to be, you can put it on a hutch, you can put it on a table. This one's gonna be a little bit different with a garden box, and we're gonna do the back different on this. So we're just gonna flip it over. I am gonna do this one stain color. So just remember to file off any stain that you have on the back. It's okay because you're not gonna see it, but the stain won't penetrate the glue. So in the existing ones where the four corners are, we're gonna add extra blocks. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. We're gonna add on this side now, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 8. So we're gonna go 9, 10, 11, 12. We're just gonna glue it all the way around. We're gonna do the exact same with the other side. So we're gonna add another 4. And then you're gonna add another 2 here, so that's 6. You're gonna make sure they're touching. And I might just try to find a longer piece because you know Jenga's not all cut the same. Sometimes there's little pieces longer than others. And even if you're off just a little bit, that's totally fine. You just want to make sure that you have a nice square, even it all the way around so it's totally flat if you were to lie something on it. And I'm going to add another 2 here. So you got the extra blocks 12, extra blocks 12, so an extra 24 blocks. Wow, I don't know what block is super long here. So I'm going to play around with this extra one because one seems a little bit longer. When I was playing with the blocks on my other desk, it was fine, but it's actually right here. There we go. And then I'm just going to use Wellbond. I'm not going to use hot glue. So then you have a smooth surface. I'm just going to show you what I mean. So the surface is smooth. I'm not putting these blocks on. I just wanted to show you that it's nice and flat all the way around. And the reason being for this, as opposed to the other one, if you want to put a picture, so we are going to do a picture behind it, you're not gluing around the corners here. You want it nice and flat. So that's why I'm going to put the extra block. So I'm going to glue these on, and then we're going to add to the base of the picture or the window frame. Right, now that the border is glued on, I do want to add, and I was just thinking because I want it to balance, there is something going to be on the front of the frame. I'm showing you sideways just because it'll be really zoomed out. So this was going to be my base. So we're going to add another 6 blocks, and we're going to put it right underneath. So you might want to swap some blocks out just to make sure that it's nice and level with the block underneath. This way it's going to balance really good. We're still going to add something, but I just want the extra balance. I'm just going to glue them attached to this in the base and to each other. Now that I have the bottom, I'm going to show it here sideways. underneath that. It gives it a lip so you can actually not have to touch it, but we're gonna add on to that. And at the bottom, I'm just gonna lean it over here. Here, I wanna put a garden box. So we are going to start with a base. I just wanted to grab a paper to put over there. So we're gonna start with 4 flat. Then you're gonna do 6 rows. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 24. You're gonna put glue on one side and you're gonna glue it to the right to the bottom of the frame. I'm just gonna tilt the camera here so you can see. You're gonna put the glue there. You're gonna glue that. Now, the next piece, you're gonna do 3 flat and you're gonna do 6 more rows. So you have the 3 and 6, and that's flat as well, and that's 18. We're just gonna keep that piece here. Then you're gonna do 6 row flat, and you're gonna need 2 of those. So that's 12. What we are going to do is turn this upright, put some glue on the bottom here. I don't know what this is. Glue it to the very front of the box on the base. And then you are going to take your sides. We got 2 sides of the flower box, and it's going to attach to the front, the bottom, and the bottom part of the big frame. And you're going to glue it just along the edges like that. Now I'm just going to show you from the front view. So this is the front view of it. So we added the base. I'm just going to move these ones to the side. I just wanted to show you from the front view. Then you're just going to add the front of the box right against there like that. It's an instant replay. And you're going to glue it to the side, but it is going to stick out a little bit in the back, and that's fine. And then you're just going to glue the other piece, and then I'm just going to let this sit overnight. All right, I don't want to move this down so it's starting to dry, and I am going to leave it overnight, but I do want to add one more piece. And it's going to go right on the top here, just kind of like a lip over something. So we are going to do 3 flat, and then we are going to do another 6 rows. So that's 18. And even though there's the lower part in the back here, and then the 2 higher rows, I am going to put the 3, and I'm just going to put it right in the center. Now it is longer, as you can see, and I want it hanging over on the edges, just kind of like a topper, so to speak. And I'm just going to put some glue right on top of here, and I'm going to let this whole unit dry overnight. All right, so I let it dry overnight, and it turned out pretty solid. As you can see, the back here, it's just sticking out a little bit in the back as well, but that just helps with it to balance. I think it turned out pretty good, and I'm really excited to paint it. So you can really paint any color you want. If you do use the stain, I would suggest to make sure just going through and using a buffer or just a nail file and take any of the glue marks that you see off, just so that the stain penetrates. Because if there are glue marks, it's going to be a little more like a light colored spot, because you can't stain over glue. Now, with the little box in the front, if you want something a little bit wider, so we did the 4 blocks the width. You could do an extra block or 2. All you have to do is add on this side and this side just more blocks out. So if you want a little bit of wider box, it's more, you can do that as well. So, and the top is just a little, I'm just trying to move in camera so you can see it's just a little bit it's centered. Yeah, it's pretty much centered. That it just gives it a nice little look on top. So I'm going to give this a coat of stain. All right, so we finished that up with the the stain, and I really like how it turned out. It's just a nice rustic vibe compared to the white one. Now there's a couple different things, and I'll flip it over. I'm going to turn it sideways just so it fits better in the screen. There's a couple different options I'm going to tell you for the back. You can leave it open and do something similar to the first DIY, or you could take some Christmas cards, and with this build you can do the same totally square frame on the very back where the T was. You could add that on the white one and do the backing as well, so you just don't have the down part spot where these blocks are missing here. With this one, you could put like a Christmas card. You could put 4 different pictures. You can put family pictures. There's a bunch of different things you can do. Leave it open, put curtains on this one if you don't want to do the white one. You can put a valance on the inside on the front or the back. It's up to you. But I'm going to put a gift bag in the back. So you're going to need to cut a piece of foam board. So I have a piece of foam board that fits right on the lip there on both sides. And it's just a little bit, I cut a little bit, just a tiny bit too short, but that's okay. You're not going to see it from the front. Then you're going to pick a gift bag. And this gift bag I got from Dollar Tree last year. I already cut one side of it off. And then I'm just going to use some Mod Podge, and I'm just going to paint right on there. Stick my picture right on there. Even if the holes are peeking through, it won't matter. I'm not going to glue it on just yet, but once I put the Mod Podge, and then you're going to kind of have a look like this, and it's going to be totally sealed all the way around on the back. Now that it's all dry, with the gift bags being a little bit thicker, they're not as bad as when you put some Mod Podge on like a glass jar where it's a little bit wrinkly. I did have a few spots and it's really hard to see, and obviously I can know on my end. But if you have to put them, when you put the Mod Podge and then put this on, you got to do it pretty fast so the Mod Podge doesn't dry. But it was just only in a couple spots. So before we glue it onto the window, I want to add some lights to it. So I have these fairy lights that I got from, these ones are from Amazon. You get like a 12 pack for $20. At least that's in Canadian funds. I don't know. I like them because they're flat and they're not the bulky battery operated ones. So I want to put 2 packs because I want it really to light up, and I want to do it more in the trees. Unfortunately, this little window is behind part of the Jenga block, so you're not really going to see it. This is just a DT tool. As you can see already, I did one there. I'm just going to pick another spot, and you're just going to go through, make a little hole. I already did one there, and I'm going to show you in a sec. Now you can just glue them on the inside of the frame if that's what you want to do. I'm just going to do another one here. So I think each strand has 20 lights. So I'm going to do about 20. And I think I'm going to do a couple in the trees. And then I'm going to do it along the barn, just up that part. And then I'm going to do on the bottom here, I'm going to do another set of fairy lights. And then also I'm going to probably, you don't really see a little bit of the truck here, but I'm just going to put a little light here and on the interior light as well, just kind of lit up a little bit. So I'm just going to kind of separate them, 20 holes here. And we're going to do it from the back. And I don't want to, no, I didn't do this hole. Whoops. This is actually from DT2. So I'm not going to string it through, and I'm just going to show you here from the back. I'm not going to do it this way where I have the wire. I'm going to keep all the wire in the back. So I'm just going to put it all through. Actually, I think these ones only have 10 on it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, so I'm going to have to find the one with 20. I believe this is the one with 20 on them. But I'm just going to show you. I'm not going to hot glue it down. So I'm going to put one in. I'm just going to fold it down, and then on the back, I'm just going to hot glue it in place. I'm going to hot glue this wire down, depending where all my holes are, and then I'm just going to stick that second little light. I'm going to turn on the light so you can see it here. Then the second light, I'm just going to bend the wire. I'm just going to put it through the hole. I'm just going to bend that down. So I'm only going to expose just the light on the front part. I'm not going to hot glue it down now. I'm just going to show you. I'm just going to bend the wire. So I'm just going to shut my light that's over the camera. So you're going to have a little scene like this. So then you're just going to do it all lit up, like I said, and you're just going to poke the light, no wire coming through, and you're just going to hot glue these pieces down on the back. And you can, once you get all your lights in, just make sure that you hot glue the part of the battery pack down, that you can lift it to change the batteries when you need to. Now that I have it all glued together, you can see I just did the hot glues and I pushed the wire flat, which is easy to do because it's bendable. And I just got two little spots. I can turn them over and you can see them right here. Now, we can flip this over just like this. I'm gonna see if this fits in the mirror. Yeah, it does. I'm just gonna move. Let me move up some Jenga blocks just underneath to hold it upright. Now, I'm going to turn it over, and it's going to glue right on that section that we added right on the back. I'm not going to use hot glue because I know by the time I use my glue gun one side and get over here, it's all going to dry up on one side, then the other. That's just how my hot glue gun works. But I'm going to put some Weld Bond just to make sure that it doesn't fall off. I'm just going to do a little bit all the way around, and you can even do it in this. I'm not going to do it in the center just because the board, because you put the Mod Podge, it will warp just a little bit. So it doesn't need to be totally flat. And I'm just going to make sure it's well glued all the way around the four corners and along the edges. And I may just put something like a little box of Jenga blocks on just some parts to make sure that it actually seals all the way around. All right, the next thing we're gonna do really depends on what you wanna do. You could put a sign up there, you could put some lettering, some like wood letters, something like that. You could paint them, you could put them down on the side as well. Really depends on what you wanna do. I'm gonna do some greenery. So these are just this year's floral picks from Dollar Tree. I'm just gonna slightly bend them. I am gonna cut them, and I'm just gonna hot glue them right above there. I'm gonna leave enough space that I wanna put, you can either put, I had a star and I can't find it, and it was a red star, and I'm gonna improvise with a bow, and I just had this made. I guess I was gonna use it on another project, but I think it'll just look good right in between there. And I'm just gonna hot glue that down as well. Now that I got that on, I actually added just a little bell on the bow just for a little something. I got these at Walmart last year. If you ever check out Walmart, they have some pretty cool little mini stuff. It's a little bit, obviously it's more expensive than Dollar Tree, but you can find some really neat things. I got these little bulbs that already came with the little greenery and the fake snow. I thought I'm just gonna put one. I'm gonna tie it in a little knot up behind the bow and just have one hanging right there. These were new to Dollar Tree this year. I'm not sure why there's one little knot long here. Oops. I'm gonna cut this off as well. I'm gonna hang it. I'm just gonna hang it, cut that top and hang it lengthwise on one side. And then these are, I don't remember seeing these at Dollar Tree last year, doorknob hangers. And the great thing about this is you could reuse this part for a wreath. I'm just gonna take this off so you guys get what I'm talking about. And I'm gonna cut this round loop off and I'm just gonna hang it. Oh, I think I can actually bend it off. I'm gonna hang it on the other side and I'm gonna find a little star. So I was just looking at my stash and I kind of found this one. This is a part of something that was just, I don't remember what package. I think it came in a package that I used these on the gift box reindeer cake I did last year. So I'm just gonna put it right over. I'm not even gonna cut that off and I'm just gonna hot glue it right on the star. Now I'm gonna add some little snowman that I found in my stash. They're just little wooden ones. And I'm gonna stick one there and just a couple brown ones. Oh, I forgot to take this one off. I was playing around off camera. This hangs right here, so I'm just gonna move it down a bit. I'm just gonna do, there's 4, there's just 5, a little bit extra. 5, and gonna add just some ribbon from Dollar Tree. I figured I'd go with the same color that's in the bow, just some black and red buffalo plaid, and just wrap it all the way around, just the front and the sides. I'm just gonna hot glue that down. After that, I'm gonna take some DT snow and use some Mod Podge, and I'm just gonna put some along the side and along the edge of the window, and I'm gonna just do a little bit around the corners and maybe just a little bit on here. All right, now we're gonna put the stuff in the box. Now it really depends on what you wanna put in front of the window. I'm gonna put a Christmas tree, and the reason I have blocks, and I'm not gonna count the blocks that I'm gonna put underneath because it's totally up to you, is just to raise it up a little bit so it's not so sunken into the box. Now, the total count for this build, so it'd be 129 was the first one we did, and then the added blocks that I went through comes to a total of 207 blocks for the shelf sitter. I'm gonna call it a shelf sitter. I'm not gonna add the blocks in there. This is just me. I normally don't hot glue them, but I did hot glue these ones just to raise them up, like I said, in the base. And we're gonna put this Christmas tree. Dollar Tree does carry these, so does Dollarama carries these, and Dollar Tree does carry these reindeers. I just used, now I did paint one black already. I'm gonna show you in a second. You can use spray paint, and that would be the only thing I would use to paint it. If you use acrylic paints or anything, brush it. It's not gonna be as good, and it probably won't stick. And make sure when you use the spray paint that it actually is for on plastic. And I'm going to show you here. I have one here done, and I have this little, and I glued once again blocks on the bottom to raise it up, which I will hot glue right down in the box. And I have this little piece of fun fur. I think I'm just going to wrap around the neck. I got to dig out a bell just to add a little something. Or you can add a bow, or you can leave it plain. It's totally up to you. And the next thing I'm gonna add, because I was kind of looking through what I had on hand, and I have this little snowman. This one was from Dollar Tree. It's just an ornament for the tree. And I just unscrewed the little pin that it was to hang it and just painted a little bit of red on it because it was a little bit white. and I'm just going to add that as well so it raises it out of the box with some blocks. Once I get those glued in, I will just add some Dollar Tree fake snow. But before I do that, I'm going to add some rocks. And the reason I'm going to add some rocks in there, and I just happen to have white, so it's kind of good, but I want to add a little bit of weight to the front only because the back is heavy and I don't want it to tip by accident. If you make the box out wider, it should be okay, but I'm just going to add a little bit of rocks, and it also fills in so I'm not using so much snow, and it gives a little bit more weight on the front. Once I get all these back in, we're going to jump back to the first one we did because I want to add one more thing. When I was digging through my stash, I did find something that I did want to add to that window. All right, I'm going to add one more thing. Dollar Tree cardinals. I pulled out the feet on it, and I'm just going to sit it right on one of the sides, right on top in the greenery, and just hot glue it right into there. Okay, like I said, we were coming back to this one. So in my stash, I found a Ziploc bag, and if we all remember these, they came in at Dollar Tree. They came in the clear and the blue, and they came in different sizes. Dollarama only carried the clear and assorted sizes as well. I did break some of them off, so I'm only going to put 3 just because the greenery is hanging down. But I just thought a couple icicles hanging from the top window would add a little something on top. You can add them on the bottom as well, but I'm just going to add a couple on top. Once I'm done that, we are going to see both of them finished. All right, guys, so here it is. I think it turned out really nice. And we'll look at the other one. All right, guys, here's the other one. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Which one are you going to make? Happy crafting, and see you soon. Bye.